Hello, sorry about the thing there. I don't know why it's doing that. I just need to set up the stream here and I will make this work. There we go. Okay. I'm not sure if the volume is maybe a bit high. Let me just check here. Okay. Okay, so what I wanted to do, I mean, we're not gonna play Hollow Knight, like, you know, a let's play or anything. What I wanted to do was to let's do this one. I wanted to check the camera. Okay, it's been a while. Where am I? Am I like inside a building? I don't remember the key bindings. Am I in the temple here? Yeah. So what I wanted to check was, like, you know, the camera movement. You can see kind of how it does, you know, first of all, depending on which way you're facing, the camera kind of shifts. You know, it's like the center of the camera, it's a little bit offset in front of the player. It's not on the player, it's like a tiny bit in front of the player, just to give you more visibility in the direction that you're going. And I've been thinking about having that, but I tried it a little bit and I didn't actually like how it felt in my game. I'm not sure, but I mean, we could try again a little bit, test, but also, like, when you start to move, the camera doesn't actually follow you immediately, or does it actually? It feels like there's a little bit of smoothness to it, especially when you stop. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I want to copy this straight off just to copy, you know, but I feel like the camera system in this game is really nice. And the thing that I especially want to check is, like, when you get those T-shaped corridors, whoops. And the camera is kind of locked up, or yeah, it's locked in the vertical. So yeah, there is the charge. Oh shit. Okay, it's kind of coming back to me, this key bindings. Oh yeah, the double jump, that's right. Wasn't there a dash as well? Yeah, also I got my controller working again. So here's a vertical shaft. Oops. Are you gonna explode? Oh. Alright. But this is like a little bit... Yeah, I don't think there is like one of those upside down T shapes, because that is really what I'm struggling with. Upside down T shaped corridor. Whoops. I'm gonna try and find one of those. I'm having fun actually just playing the game. But let's see if we can. Maybe we can zoom in. I mean, I can't really point with the mouse because it's not showing here. But below me, there's like a room that goes to the left, and then there's a vertical shaft, and then it goes to the right. I'm not sure if that is connected to in the same room or not, so we can actually see the transition. We can see also here to the all the way to the right. From where I am right now, there is, when it goes over from the kind of green, light green, bluish color to the reddish, light reddish color, there is like a connection there between these two areas where it kind of looks like an arm folded upwards. Anyway, I'm gonna try and go over there. I'm gonna try and describing what I'm trying to show here with. Let's see, can I do... Oh yeah, there we go, that's the dash. Where's the... Whoops, that was not the correct... There we go, that's the one. I thought I could do that on a ledge. Yes, I can. Okay. Oh my god, there's... Oh shit, I died. Okay. It's a little bit difficult here because I'm in like the end game, and I haven't played this in a long while, so I'm a little bit out of touch here, a little bit rusty. Okay, actually, okay, I'm just gonna go back and take back this thing here. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of similarities between this game and my game, of course, since both are the same genre. Whoops. Woof, that was close. But I really want to go down here. Alright. Oh yeah, and the monsters actually stay dead. That's also one thing that I want to have is eventually is that the monsters will not respawn if you just exit and like enter and exit an area, which is kind of un-8-bitty, but it's just you know, it just feels better, I think. I mean, I don't want to copy every single aspect of an 8-bit game. I just want to have the aesthetic and feel of it. Oh, I can't believe that hit me. Wait, what hit me there? Okay, I need a little bit of health. Okay. Now, let's see. Yeah. Also, it's interesting also how the camera acts when you jump up on platforms. Different games do very different things. Especially, I think, like the Super Mario games, they have really, you know, complex behavior, or like more complex behavior than just this, because this just follows the player, but essentially Although I feel like when you're jumping up, the camera kind of it slowly follows the player. I feel like it doesn't actually snap to the player, but when you're falling down, it does kind of more quickly snap to the player. I believe that's because when you fall down, if you fall down like this, like longer, it should, you know, it's more important to see what's like below you. But even when jumping like this, it still feels like you're kind of in the center of the screen. Alright, let's see. We need to go a little bit further here. I don't remember what kind of monsters there are here. I need to remember to use the dash. I don't remember if the dash actually goes through enemies. Oh, it does. Okay, cool. Where are we now? Okay, just a little bit further. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Yeah, I can use this. I can spam this way more than I did. That was actually kind of like one of those rooms, actually, where it went into a vertical shaft. I'm just gonna try this place. See here. Now the camera is bounded up and down. See? If I move up, the camera doesn't move vertically at all. And now I'm actually below the center point. So we are bounded now vertically, but not horizontally. But when I go here, it allows me to move down. And the camera shifts down. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's interesting because... And here you can actually feel that when you fall down, it immediately starts to show the camera, go the camera down. So it feels like these two areas have different mode settings. Like even if I fall down over here, which is further down than the top platform to the right, the camera still doesn't move down. It still keeps the same vertical position. But once I go down this one, immediately the camera starts to move down. So that tells me that these are two different areas. There's two different like regions here. So there should be like some sort of transitional transition there to the next region. But here's more simple because you just simply walk over here, right? However, it's interesting to me that the camera, well, the camera is still on the top because we're still like at the top, right? As soon as the center point moves further down, the camera moves down to the next. Yeah. So yes, very interesting. And then over here, oh, there you can see you saw the transition here. I move over. Once I kind of stand on this platform, we enter another transition here, where the camera now goes up a little bit because of the transition. It's very smooth and very slow, and it feels very deliberate as well. It's like, yeah, there is stuff up here. Very interesting. Yeah, and this is really what I'm after. And over here you can see again, the camera is now locked vertically in this area as well. Very nice. And once I'm up here, it's also kind of locked. Well, actually, it might not be locked vertically. It might still be going down the shaft here, actually. Since we didn't get that far down. But once I step over here, there's a transition. Interestingly, it feels like almost like when I land on the ground, it shifts. Not when I'm jumping in the air to get over here. That is very interesting. It does change at it, like if you're farther in. But it's like if I jump just and move just a little bit, you know, over here, it doesn't actually move up, but I can land. Wait, no, maybe the transition is just further along than I thought. Okay, so actually there was just a little illusion there. So the transition is actually here. This is the transition point. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it almost feels like it's two different systems working at the same. It almost feels like we've got two. It's like the camera like the camera position, the camera target, which is like slightly in front of the player, is one point where the camera should focus, of course, and then it's kept into the boundaries. And then also the camera position itself needs to approach this point, but it approaches the point differently depending on, I guess, yeah, because when you're moving like this, it feels like the motion is faster than when the transitional thing happens here. So there's different speeds depending on the actual action that you're taking. Also, when you fall, it's different as well. Interestingly here, it doesn't actually do the normal follow the player immediately because we are bounded at the top here, I believe. Yeah. Okay, well, it's still immediate. Like if I stand over here, it immediately follows the player. So there's different like speeds depending on the action that you're doing. If you're falling, it like immediately follows the player and keeps the player in the center. If you're just moving left to right, it has a little bit slower. It doesn't immediately snap to the new position. It just slowly moves there. And if you're transitioning to this thing, it even more slowly adjusts to that position as well. And I've been thinking, whoops, what the hell happened there? I've been thinking of how to do this transition. So basically, when you do a transition, so we kind of have to try to keep track of which boundary we're in, and which boundary was the last boundary that we were. And once we do a switch, so now we're in a new boundary, we will store the old boundary so we can like compare, so that we know, you know, the different, the boundary, well, actually, do we need to store it? Yeah, so we know that if we're switching or not. Hang on. How do we know? Wait. Okay, 1 second. The transition here is also very smooth. It's like it almost never feels like it's getting a new boundary here. There we go. I kind of... Okay. I found it. I found a... Excuse me. I found a camera snapping bug in Hollow Knight. So, okay, and this is kind of based on my assumption on how the system works, because I believe it's kind of similar to the system that I came up with. Which, I mean, granted, it was based on this, you know, this behavior, but it's actually also interesting. Yeah, you get this is the transition part, like the shaft. Well, it kind of goes here. I wonder if they have multiple rectangles that have like the same ID or something. They have like a polygon instead of just rectangles, because here is like more, or maybe they have like a priority. This one is more to the right than the other one. Yeah, you can see the kind of weird snapping effect there when transitioning to this, because it almost feels like this transition is like way snappier. I'm not sure why, or maybe it's because we're falling into a transition. Here we can't really trigger the same thing because I think the transition area is more to the left there, so we can't actually reach it. But here we're actually reaching the transition. So that tells me that the the timing or the timer or whatever the speed, determining the speed of the thing is the same as the thing that follows the player when it's falling, when we're falling. And here is simply, I think, just a normal. Yeah, here the camera behaves the same all the way through, so this is just part of the shaft, I believe. Although here we can go to the right. Can we go that much to the right down here? Yes, we can actually. Okay. Interesting. Or can we? Yeah, I think so, maybe. I'm gonna put my finger where the elevator is right now and see. It's not that important. I'm just curious to how it works. Yes, that's the same. That's the same range there. Interesting. Interesting that I found this bug. Like just trying to figure out how the system works. Okay. That's also interesting because it's like almost means like I'm not sure why that happens. It might be like different. It could be that different transitions have different speeds as well. So maybe this transition has more speed. Maybe. What if you dash in? Like you come from over here and dash in. That doesn't have the same. I'm not sure why this happens. Strange. Well, it goes to show that even a really good camera system like Hollow Knight has its bugs, so I won't be too deterred if my system happens to have a couple of bugs here and there. Okay. I'm just curious if they have like different speeds on the transitions. Because this transition here, no, it has the same kind of speed, very slow up and down. Maybe it's also depending on the distance of the new target. Very slow. It also feels like here it's faster. It reaches like the same point in the same amount of time, almost, it feels like. It takes like the same amount of time. Almost. Also, strange. When it goes up, it has like a smooth motion. When it has... and it slows down when it goes down. When it goes down, it kind of feels like it goes more linearly. Here it feels linear at first and then it slows down. Here it feels like linear, very slow linear motion. And then it just stops. I mean, yeah, I think these are like so tiny details that they probably don't matter. But interesting that the transition is so slow. Yeah, because you can see, you can kind of, if you're here and you want to like just speed up, it does eventually go up. I think that it's like two different... It almost feels like there's two different variables. Like it catches up, it feels like. It really catches up with you. When you jump up like this, camera follows pretty much perfectly. I think it has like a kind of like a leash almost. Like it, hello penguin. It follows the player like slightly behind the player or something like that. It takes like, it has some accelerations, what I'm trying to say. When the player starts moving, it has some acceleration, but it actually eventually keeps up with the player. And it doesn't like try to move then past the player, I guess. It just follows the player. Because you are slightly above the center, I believe, there. Especially there. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Because this is what I think is interesting here. When you're here, you try to kind of moving up past the... But eventually the camera kind of speeds up a lot and just moves to the player. Like eventually it just moves to the player. I wonder if that is based on kind of like a timer or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just slow. I'm gonna try this a couple more times. Try to get a perfect... No. Obviously, when you do something like this, there's also a special thing here where the camera just enters a different mode, I guess. It goes like... You can see even further in front of you. It moves more to the direction that you're actually facing. It's also interesting, like even when you do this and you enter a transition, the transition still takes the same amount of time. Getting inspiration from Hollow Knight, yes. And in Swedish that would be ihålig knäckt. Yeah, I'm just looking how the camera system works, because I just think they have a really nice camera system, and I really want to get this right. It's just one of those things. So, okay. So conclusion, I think. The transition between two things here is kind of like like the shaft is not locked. Actually, over here it's locked. So this might be another transition getting up here. Maybe that's what's happening when you move up there, actually. Yeah, when you get over there, maybe that's why we get this weird bug as well. Like this bug here. Maybe there's a transition here where you can't move further to the left, but here you can move all the way here. So there's one region there, and here's another region where you can't move more to the left, and then there's the region at the bottom where you actually can do that. Interestingly, here there's no. Yeah, to the right you can always go all the way here. So there's no like weird, I guess, X position snapping happening here. I'm not sure what's happening here. This snap seems very strange. While me creating a custom allocator for my custom C standard lib. GitHub Penguin operated nya lang. What? How do you pronounce it? Nya? I was building in Rust first, but then decided to experience the Neolang vibes. Absolutely minimal standard lib. The language is close to assembly as impossible. Nya? You play game today? Yeah, I'm like taking. I'm trying to figure out how the camera system works, so I can kind of try to get ideas for my own. Oh, nice. You use Python to build like a makefile. Yeah, the control. I don't know what's happening when I like Alt Tab out. It just starts to do like go in one direction. Okay. So what we could do is we could try the transition thingy. So it's like when we transition between two boundaries or two camera settings. It seems to me that there's a separate acceleration or speed variable that starts affecting the camera. That is also depending, like it's like a timer almost, because it feels like it takes the same amount of time. It just depends on the speed depends on the distance, because it should take the same amount of time. So for example, where was that other transition actually? Yeah, it is there. It is on this ledge here, right. So this ledge, notice when I move slightly to the left, the camera shifts up. I move slightly to the right, the camera shifts down. However, it's not nearly moving as long of a distance than the one at the bottom, than the other transitional did. But it kind of takes the same amount of time. Like the speed is slower. And over here, you see the speed is faster because the new transition, like, or the new kind of camera target is further away from the previous one. So yeah. So I'm gonna guess it depends on, it's like a time-based camera, time-based thing. It's like always should take the same amount of time. So there's a separate variable for that starts kind of when you're transitioning from one boundary to another, and then like camera zone to another, and then you know, it like interpolates between those two in some way. And it also has kind of like a ease out as well, it seems like. Ease in, out, maybe. What else did I think about? Yeah, so also, if you start to like move back and forth between the two, I think the thing kind of resets, and perhaps it doesn't actually know the previous zone per se, but it needs to keep track of the previous kind of zone, or the previous maybe, or maybe it does keep track of the previous zone. I'm not sure. Because you can still move through like during that transition. So you can essentially, the new target also changes as well. Maybe that's why this is happening. Yeah, maybe, yeah. It like slow at first, and then it catches up, perhaps. Or it's another transition. I don't know. Man, this is kind of difficult. Yeah, this behavior here tells me that either the camera after a while just catches up with the player, or there's another transition up there that I don't see, which kind of affects things, perhaps. But it feels like we're kind of escaping the camera first, because it's like slowly following, and then it doesn't. It like just catches up. Okay, but we can do this. We can do the transition thing, I think. We need to keep track of the current transition. Is there a bench near here so I can kind of save and go back here? There is one down there. No, that's the tram, but I think the tram has a bench. There's a bench down and then to the right. Is that closer? Probably. Because I need to exit, and if I need to go back here to examine the thing. Wait, isn't this... Did I not get this? Oh yeah, no, this is a new save. Or maybe they respawn, I don't know. Okay, I just need to go to the right. Alright. What is that? Okay, anyway. Cool. I got my controller working again, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to test now. All right. Okay. Now. Right. So. So I think then a couple of things. Where's the update camera? Here. So, camera, boundary, transition. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to keep track of transitions between boundaries somehow. When a transition occurs, start a timer, let's say 2 seconds or something. The timer will be used to interpolate with an ease function. Between the two boundaries, yeah, somehow interpolate between the two boundaries. So, and then also, if a transition occurs again while the timer is not yet done, then we will so what we could do is we could reverse, right? We could do a reverse. We could switch. Well, yeah. Start the timer again, but reverse. But with starting value. 2 seconds minus current timer, right? Because then it's like flipped. Wait, but that only makes sense if you're going back to the same transition though, I think. I think it's better if we instead we don't have a special case here. We only do this. When a transition occurs, start a timer. Store the current. I guess we need some kind of boundary-based target or something, maybe. Or just a target. Store the current target as the previous boundary-based target. Interpolate between the two targets. So we have a previous target and then the new target, which we will interpolate between. The problem, though, I think, is that, well, or the thing is that it seems like the Hollow Knight camera, which I really like, and I really could, if I could just copy it, it would be cool. That one is only kind of moving vertically, like it's adjusting vertically and not horizontally, because the horizontal boundary did not kind of affect the new in the transition, but the vertical did affect. The vertical unlocked to the top did affect the thing, the boundary there. So it's kind of like it's adjusting. It's not really the camera target that is being interpolated, I don't think. It's more the boundary. Which is it makes things a little bit more complicated because of how I chose to implement this with infinities and stuff. I mean, I could just use like flags instead. Flags to kind of say, well, is it unlocked or not? And then the boundary will always be the same. Perhaps. Like, okay, I'm kind of picturing in my mind how what kind of issues could arise here, and how to solve all that. So if the player I kind of lost my train of thought there. See, yeah. This is kind of the issue here. It's like I mean, in my case, the issue could also just be based on the fact that the boundaries are defined badly. Like, that could be the case. Wait, where was... Okay. So here's the boundaries here. Why did they move? I'm not sure why the order changed here. They should be like at the bottom. Also, I don't have a way to change that. No, I have not implemented a way to change the order of these entities. Okay. Anyway, so it could just be that my definitions here are like bad. I wish I could put like opacity on these things. That would be cool to have like opacity, so you can see beyond, like, so you don't have like it's now it's either on or off. So we have this boundary here. The problem is that you go into this boundary which unlocks vertical. Maybe it doesn't actually need to be here. Maybe it could just be here. Really? So maybe this one is actually just gonna be... Okay, it's kind of hard to tell where it is. Here. Can you participate in some jams? I've never done that. I'm always afraid of that because I think I'm too slow. Like I mean, I know people say it's a good way of like I don't know, of like learning game development, because you get a lot of other game devs, and maybe you can, you know, discuss things or look at how other people doing things. But I'm just I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Where's the thing? Where is the camera settings? There you are. Why are you not... Like, why do you not have a thumbnail? There we go. All right. So how do we do this actually? We could also implement some kind of like a priority, like we could allow for boundaries to overlap and then have a priority property which will make them you know, so let's say instead of having these two different ones, we will have one long that reaches the whole thing, and then this one will take priority because it's more important. Like if the player's over here, of course it should be this corridor here. That allows us to also, you know, have these well, yeah, overlapping, so we don't need multiple. So then this would take priority when you actually go in here, and then this one will take priority because it should have kind of the highest, I guess. And maybe that will take over, or maybe this has priority. Yeah, I think I want to do something like that. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to create all these weird different small rectangles and stuff. So if you delete that, we change you to have... Well, actually, we need to delete all of these. We go over here. We need to add a new property, which is going to be priority. And I guess the higher the more. Start at 0. I mean, we could also use like an inherent order-based priority here, because there is an inherent like order. Why are you like this right now? Okay. So we go up there and then maybe one more. And then all the way. Okay, and then you will have everything locked. Priority 0. And now we can hide you. And we'll make another one. Okay, but this one has priority 1, so that it takes over priority. And it should be unlocked at the top. Okay. And then we have this one. Which is, it stretches down over there. I don't know. I could go like this. And then you go all the way up. And then you're unlocked at the bottom. Okay. So now we need to implement the priority. Okay. So when we get the boundary, let's see here. Boundary. We will actually get a boundary with highest priority. Actually, they should probably be not optional, because we might not actually have any boundaries. Highest priority, yeah. Okay, and then we need to find that if boundary with highest priority dot priority. If we have it, and if... Right, I haven't added it to the thing yet. A priority. No, it's not a bool, it's let's just do size, fine. Oh. I didn't actually add... Okay, I guess we'll add integer here. Yeah, integer. Okay. Alright. So we have this there. And now we should be spawn. And in it. What the hell? Let's just add priority here as well. All right. Now, if this is less than your priority, because you are a camera boundary, then max, no, boundary with highest priority should be equal to camera boundary yeah, I will wait with this. And then over here we'll say if actually also we need, but anyway, here we're gonna say if we have found one we will use that. We can also do this. I'm gonna rename that to a real word. Looks like you're banging the keyboard. Is it too loud? Too heavy sound? Okay. I'll try to move back the mic a little bit. Is that better? Boundary rect. Oh, let's just make it into a variable. Expected 4 arguments, found 3. Right, so the priority here doesn't actually matter because it's the only one. It's the same? Okay. Yeah, I had, don't remember who it was, maybe it was Mr. Simmons, but someone actually complained about the voice being too low. The problem is, like, I have my mic next to the keyboard. I don't really have anywhere else for it to be. I mean, I guess maybe I have too small of a desk here. I'll try to move the mic. Sorry. There we go. Maybe this is better. Is there a difference in my voice? And can you... Is it the same with the keyboard or... Actually, I have some settings on here I can flip. Maybe something like this. I'll try this. It's better now? Okay, cool. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you, by the way, for telling me, cool guy. And welcome to the stream. What can we do here? Okay, so this one was done there. So now instead of getting the first camera boundary that we find, because we made sure that they never overlap, now they can overlap, and then we pick the one with the highest priority, which will be our boundary that we consider being the current boundary. Cool. How's it going? It's going good. The camera is like a lot more complex than you think. Like when you actually play a game, you don't really think about the camera, and that's when it actually, you know, I guess that's when it does its job the best. But when you try to implement it, it's another beast. So I'm gonna see if I can try this out now. Also, I have my controller now working, so you don't have to. Yeah, so it's a little bit easier, I say, when I get hit. Wait. Oh, I forgot a thing. I forgot to populate this. So, because if we don't have this yet, we should just set this to the current one. There we go. All right. Sound like spaceship shooting laser? Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's kind of a joke sound. I kind of copied the sound, or tried to copy the sound that you get when you die in Mega Man. Oh yeah, that's right. We have like a look around feature as well. Okay. This is kind of funny. Like you go over here, it like goes up. Okay, and then it goes back down. What the hell? You have, oh, your priority is 0. I see, these overlap there. So you should be like, I don't know, 2. Okay. So that one took over there, okay. I just want to see how this will do now. I mean, we could also allow this boundary to be unlocked left and right. This doesn't have to, it just needs to unlock to the top. It doesn't have to, like, bound. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, let's do this. Let's unlock left and right. Alright, Penguin. So there you go. Okay, so interestingly, like in Hollow Knight, the transition is like way slower. Like you can see here, the transition is pretty fast. Transitions to the new area pretty fast. And it's a bit jarring, maybe. I mean, I'm ready for it. So for me, it's not super jarring, but yeah. So this, I mean, I feel like this actually works well. It's just that the problem is like different in Hollow Knight. Like there's different speeds of the adjustments depending on the type of movement you're doing. If you're falling down, the camera follows you pretty quickly. If you're jumping up, it follows you also kind of quickly, but also more slowly than when you're falling. If you're moving left and right, it also kind of smoothly follows you, but slower than if you were falling. But it also feels like there's different variables acting on like the same, on the camera position in different ways. Like a transition from one state to another will be a slower paced adjustment. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. How can we achieve that? Because I think with that we simply don't just try to adjust to a new target all the time. We actually have to keep track of a couple of things in order to make that happen. I'm getting my ass wiped by the AI. I kind of asked looking to provide questions for practical stuff in pure JavaScript. Okay. What kind of problems are you having? Maybe I can help you, because I know like JavaScript is what I usually work with in my day job, so I can help you if you want. Okay, let's just try to do this. Let's try. I think what I want to do is I want to try and keep track of the different boundaries. Yeah, okay, let's do it like this. We keep track of different boundaries. So when you transition from one boundary to another, we store the previous boundary and then a timer starts for like 2 seconds. So kind of what I'm saying here. We store the previous boundary. So when the current boundary found is different from the previous boundary. So we have to keep track of the previous boundary as well. Store the previous boundary as the transition boundary. Source transition from boundary. It's giving me some of the exercise to do and show, so it can know my coding ability, and it will increase the intensity slowly. Oh, okay, I see. So you're learning JavaScript, or what? Like from scratch? Only using AI? I mean, there are probably an insane amount of resources out there that is not AI that will help you get started as well. I mean, AI could probably give you a good entry point. I'm just saying, not learning, it's polishing for the interview. What, do you mean that you're rusty or something? Or, I mean, if it's not learning, what are you doing? I mean, to me, like, I'm always learning. Like, everyone is always learning programming. That is, like, that's like a major part of what you do. Even as like a senior principal engineer or whatever, there's always more to learn. Yeah, interpolate. Yeah, so we need to we calculate the targets based on the previous boundary. I think we need to store the previous. Do we need to store the previous target as well? I don't know. We can try different things. Okay. Let's do this. Let's store camera previous boundary. It's gonna be a camera boundary. Which is, I guess it's null to start with. It's only null for the first. Let's just initialize this. Actually, let's do size 1. Okay. It's kind of revising, or I guess revisiting maybe, all things I didn't build much in the JS. So I'm seeing how much I can do with DOM. It's giving me interview tasks. Okay, cool. And then we need camera transition from boundary. And this one can be, this one actually makes sense that it's optional. Because we have transition from, and then the current boundary is the one that we're actually finding. Kind of machine coding round. Okay. I mean, are you actually programming or are you just using AI? It sounded like you're machine coding. What does that mean? Like, are you vibe coding? Or are you actually programming yourself? Doing on your own? Okay, cool. I mean, there's no shame in like using AI, I think, as a tool. But I think if people want to hire a programmer, they probably want someone who actually can program as well as use AI as a tool to help. From their standpoint, is what I was thinking. Okay, so we have these. We also need the transition timer. It's F64. I'm just gonna say it's 0. Welcome back, Penguin. Okay. No. Camera. What am I doing? Okay, so we need a way to check the current boundary. So we can't simply do this thing anymore. We actually need to get the target now, like this, because this one simply calls this. It adjusts depending. It adjusts the bound or the target for the boundary, which I wanna actually break out into another thing here. Adjust target with boundary. Target is a vector and boundary is a boundary. And we simply this. And so instead of doing all this crap, we will do just target with boundary, and we return the target. Yes. Okay, so we get the target. We also get the boundary. If not boundary equals boundary and then the previous boundary, then we will do the thing. Also, I think that update camera snap should set previous camera previous boundary. It should be set to get boundary. No, camera boundary. I should rename that actually. Get camera boundary. Okay. transition, yeah, all of this. We'll reset this here. Timer, yeah, doesn't matter, but we'll just reset these things because this will make sure that we actually initialize the previous boundary to the correct value, so that we don't get this initial like 0 size or 1 size boundary to start with. So here we actually check if they are equal, or if they're not equal rather. If they're not equal, we should start a camera boundary transition between and this is the new boundary, so game and new boundary there. Okay. Why do I need to fetch the target here? I don't really need to do that. Actually, you know what? Let's make this accept a boundary instead. So this would be the target, would be within this the new boundary. If we have a previous boundary, if we transition between boundaries, we should take that into account. So this is the target of the new boundary. And then I'm just gonna do, and then the target from previous boundary. Okay. And then we're gonna have an interpolation between those two. So this is target to, target from, and then the target, the actual target will be, is there like an inter function here? No. Interpolation from target from target to with the timer let's see, it's gonna be timer. First off, we're gonna cap it at 1, and then it's gonna be timer that's the start, so game.t minus timer. Well, let's just do like interp percentage. And then this over the camera transition duration. Okay, I guess we'll have this convention. Camera transition duration is 2 seconds. Whoops. Right. Okay. So get camera target. So this is like, we could do this. Get camera target. So either if is in transition, target, whoops, will be get camera target in transition, else we need a boundary, get camera target. Within boundary. And then you get camera target in transition will be this one. Okay. And we need interp. Is there really no interp? So it's going to be 2 minus from times percentage, sorry, plus from. And this could really be actually like any type, to be honest. If this is any type and this is type of from, type of, no, actually this is percentage F32. And this gives us type of from. Because then you could pass in vector, float, integer, like anything here, really. Boundary equals. We're doing some top-down programming. Boundary equals A, B. Actually, you know what? We can actually just use. Not. Wait, is it meta equal? This works for any type. If it's a struct, I believe it goes through all the fields. Yes. So it goes through all the fields and checks recursively if they are equal. If it's, you know, a primitive, it will check the primitiveness. Pointers, it would just actually check if it's the exact same pointer here, not the contents of the pointer. I guess else it just uses this one, yeah. So it's like a kind of like a deep equal. Except for pointers, where it just checks if it's the same pointer, though. So, but it's nice because then I can use it here, so I can check all these different things. I don't need to check if they are equal. I don't need to implement that myself. Okay. Start camera boundary transition. Yeah, that's right. Boundary equals. Okay, now we can actually remove you. Okay, this is the last thing here. So what will this do? This will boundary is then going to be the new boundary. And then presumably we already have the previous boundary stored as well. Wait, project directory? This is not the previous boundary. Oops. There we go. Yeah. So this is the new boundary. Okay. What will you do? You will set transition from boundary. It's gonna be the previous boundary. Also, I'm gonna probably here like defer previous boundary equals to boundary. So that's the previous frame, last frame boundary. I'm gonna call this instead last frame boundary, previous frame boundary. And this is the one we save. And the timer should just be now T there to start with. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for that. We don't really need a new boundary actually, so let's just remove that. And then we have this one, is in transition. Turn say bool. So essentially, we just want to check if the timer, if t minus the timer is going to be less than the duration of the transition. So that means we're in the transition. Also, we could simply check if this is not null as well. But let's do it like this, because then I think it's a little bit more robust, perhaps. F64. Okay. Sure. Let's do like any type there, I guess. Oh, mixed. Wait. Let's do F32. Can you implicitly do that, or do you have to cast? And then your mixed scalar. So we're gonna assume that this is scalar. This is the issue then. If this, so actually here we need to like, if type of is there like is I wish there was like easier ways to do this, like is a vector or something like that. Type info type of from equal to vector, then we will return scalar of that, or, well, yeah, it has to be like a vector. Actually, let's just support this one. We just check if it's equal to this, to our vector type. Otherwise, we return same thing without the scalar call. Okay. And again, with Zig, what's nice about this, when this compiles, we get like two different versions of this function, which either does this or this, depending on the type that you put in. So if you put in a vector, you only get this code. If you put in a number, you get this code. So that's really nice. Okay, so that's all the functions implemented, I think, because I don't get any more errors. Now let's see what we got here. So now we have a new target, which depends on if we're in a transition or not. If we're in a transition, we get the camera based on transition. Otherwise, we get the normal target within the boundary. Yeah. And then we do the normal kind of the same thing here, except now this is like interpolated here. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. We also have this check here. If if we have changed the boundary, we need to actually start a transition. I think also like when the boundary is done, no, because this function should return false then. Yeah. And this always updates. Okay. There we go. Now let's see. Oh wow, that's almost like instant now. It kind of has the same behavior, actually. Interesting. Okay. Why is that? Do we ever enter a transition? Because here we get the new boundary based on where we are. That seems to work. We defer to update the previous to the boundary, but that happens, and the next frame we can equal the previous here. So if they are not equal, we start a transition. Timer simply set to T to mark the start time. And we store the from boundary. And wait, did I use, oh, this is wrong here. This should be the from boundary. Which has to exist. There we go. Welcome back, Penguin. Okay. Let's try again. Oh, it crashed. Is it because of the unwrap? Probably. I'll attempt to use null value, yeah. Huh. Oh, is it because we're in at the start? I see. Okay, so we should set this to like negative infinity to get rid of that issue. Or we could change how we actually interpret this timer, because we can use it as an end time. I usually have timers represent the end time, because then it's way easier to actually, you know, you don't have to factor in the duration every time, because that's already factored in to the thing. But I didn't do it. For some reason, I did not do it like that this time, which is a strange thing that usually happens. Oh, it still crashed. Okay, so maybe we don't actually initialize it properly. Oops. Or we are... the isInTimer function is not... or isInTransition, I mean. So t minus this, which makes sense, because this should always be equal or lower to t, is less than the transition duration. So this would be the relative time we have currently taken from the start of the transition. If that is less than the duration... oh, I see. If this is infinite, negatively infinite, no, that still doesn't make sense. Like, if this was -2, we would actually add 2 to t. Which is, if t is 0, it becomes 2. And that would already be past the duration. Okay, let's just do it like this. Camera transition timer. Let's call this camera transition ends at. This is usually how I do it. We have ends at, and then simply here we simply need to check if ends at. Okay. So if ends at is more than t, then we're still in the transition. If this is in the future, essentially, we're still in the transition. So now we can set it to 0 again. Okay. And actually now we need to change this one though. So do we need to move these around? I think this minus this now instead, because this will be 2 seconds ahead of this. Yeah. And then actually, wait, we don't want to divide by 0. What we want to do, we need to also No, we're not dividing by 0. What we need to do is we need to do like 1 minus this. Because this will be flipped now. It will start out at 2 and go down to 0. It counts how much is left instead of how far we've come. Okay. Yes. Alright. And then we cap it at 1. We cap it at 1. Yes, maximum 1. Yes. And then nothing else is happening with this one. Yeah. All right, cool. Here we go. It's built. Now we can try again. All right, there we go. Interesting. Wait. There you go. Oh, yes. Nice. Look at that slow transition. Maybe it's a little bit too slow. Here's another transition though. Interestingly. It's kind of weird. It's like transitioning quickly and slowly at the same time. I think it's because we still count the boundary as... Okay, maybe we shouldn't. Oh, I see. It's when it's like resetting. Okay, well, for 1, I think the duration is a little bit too high. Maybe it should be 1 second or 1.5. Let's set 1 second. Another thing then is that if you're transitioning back again, it's like what I think what we need to do is we need to store the boundary, the previous boundary, as like an interpolated. No, maybe not the boundary, but the wait. Hang on. Yeah, maybe we actually need to, when we store this, it's not gonna be simply the previous, it's also gonna be interpolated. Interboundary. If we had if actually is in transition, if we're in a transition, we set you to interboundary between the current transition boundary to the next, or to the previous transition I'm just gonna store this as a thing. Get transition percentage. All right. Okay, otherwise, so if we're in a transition, we calculate the interpolated boundary between the previous stair to the next with that same interpolation. Then, or I mean, otherwise, we just set it to the previous, because then we're done. It should really be the same thing, because if it's fully done, then we get this one anyway, but but let's just do it like this. That's fine. Okay, and then we update the transition and then we start a new transition between this boundary, which is now like a calculated boundary, because otherwise, yeah, we get this kind of weird jarring camera movement if you move back and forth between the boundaries, because now we're kind of calculating how far did we come and going from that to the next. Okay, so right, so now we need this interp boundary function. From is a boundary, to is a boundary, whoops, percentage, and we get a boundary back. All right. So we simply will return init, and the rectangle will be top left. It's going to be now interp from top left to top left, with percentage, and then bottom right, same thing. Alright, so that's the rectangle. Now we have locks. Locks is this is interesting. Wait, locks. I think it's gonna have to be 2. Maybe. Because you can't really interpolate between 2 booleans values. I'm not sure about this actually. Okay, I'm gonna pick 2 and maybe we'll see. Because that is the new one that we're actually going from. So it makes sense to use that one. Priority and enabled, of course, should be true, but I'm just gonna inherit here. Okay, there we go. So now, maybe this will be good. I mean, it seemed to work fine when just transitioning normally, but when you hurry up and transition between 2 places frequently or very quickly, oops, now I'm using the keyboard move. Alright. See there? It's kind of strange how it like allows you to go right and then it goes back. It's like feels like you're jumping against a current or something. There's a weird motion also when see this right, so also now we have like it's like a linear, whereas in Hollow Knight it's like an easing function. But yeah, that seems to work a little bit better, I think. But there's still some quirks here. Look at that, like I move up here, okay, and there you go. Here's the transition back and forth, which feels a little bit strange. I think it's because of the lock thing. Because the top is locked left and right, while this is not. And so all of a sudden it's unlocked, so it might drastically actually change. Because we cannot interpolate between infinite, infinite and a finite number. It doesn't work. So maybe we always have to work with boundaries, like set boundaries and never unlock. What I'm thinking is something like this. What if instead of the camera settings being the boundary itself, we can define either like regions or other entities that are like zones, and then the camera setting will refer to a zone as its boundary. So that will be a boundary, and then you would also have like an activation, because this rectangle here, really this is kind of like its activation point, but the boundary should reach all the way over here. But right now the activation zone and the boundary zone are like the same, always the same. So maybe we need both a boundary zone and also an activation zone for these things, which means I need another type of entity, which is just a rectangle. Basically, it's just a zone. And then the camera settings would have a property that points to that zone as a boundary or activation. Like the camera settings itself could be the activation zone, and then the other zone could be the boundary zone. Because then also this one does not need to lock or unlock bottom. It can simply stretch all the way to the bottom as its zone, like that. Okay, I can try something like that. So that would mean that we actually delete the locked property. I'm not gonna do that yet because it's a lot of work getting it back and stuff. But I'm gonna add another property, which is the boundary zone. That's gonna be an entity reference. Okay. And then we need a new entity type, which is a zone. And you don't really have a property, really. I mean, I guess you could have a label, maybe. So this would be the bottom zone. It's gonna stretch out 2 more there. There we go. Now those are the same size. That's the bottom zone. And then actually we need to delete you. Oops, did I delete the zone? No, I did. Okay, the order changed. Interesting. And then, yeah, we do have to delete this camera settings, but I'm gonna add a new one that overlaps exactly here. And it doesn't need to stretch all the way down now, so we can just have it like that. And then you don't have anything locked. Priority should be 1, I guess. Right, let's delete this. And then the boundary is going to be, well, we can't see it now. Oh, there we go, zone. Cool. So now we can select this and we see that it's connected to this zone here. Okay. So, and then we have this one. I'm just gonna delete that. And we'll add another camera settings. It's getting a bit more complicated, but maybe this is not how we want it to be, but I don't know. It feels like they are 2 different things, really. And actually, we don't really need to stretch all the way. We can just do this. This is also the zone. Okay. Now we have 2 of these. They're connected to the same zone, so they are actually the same. They have the same boundary. But I just realized that this thing should also unlock upwards. That's the whole point of this system. I mean, technically, we could actually connect a list of boundaries. The only problem there is we go back to the issue of having multiple boundaries and having them like if you can't unlock a direction, then we have to somehow calculate when you go between boundaries that you can actually, the camera can actually pass through. It's kind of like the boundary is one big polygon instead of one rectangle instead. So it's like we have to be able to calculate that in that case, which is probably possible with some kind of, you know, mathematical algorithm for checking if a rectangle is, or like snapping a rectangle inside of a polygon somehow. But wait, how did I think of this first? Yeah, that's the whole problem. Like, if we can't lock, we have to have that. If we can lock, then the problem becomes, or I mean, if we can unlock directions, that means then that the calculations become a little bit weird when we're interpolating between the boundaries. Perhaps we could, though. We could. No. God damn it. Actually, no. You know what? I think I just have the solution right here. Actually, let's not do this. I think. Let's actually go back. I need to set, yeah, priorities one, yeah. Boundary, well, screw boundary, that doesn't matter now. Okay, I'm just gonna try this. We'll clean this up later. Okay, that is the one there. Actually, you need to be 2 up. And you need to be priority 1 or 2. And you are unlocked at the bottom. You are not unlocked. So we'll hide you. You are, can hide everything. You are unlocked to the left and right and up. Did I forget to do that actually last time? Maybe that was the issue. No, but what I was thinking is that really the lock should not matter. Wait, damn it! I had the solution, I think, and then I lost it because I was having to do a bunch of things. Yeah, this thing. I think we just keep everything locked. Maybe? No, that doesn't work. That does not work. Okay, maybe we can do something like this. Maybe we can do like so if the previous was unlocked, the new one is locked, we transition between the two, it determines the position, and then the new, and then we're stuck at half, and then the new one will move from that to the next. It would make sense if you would be locked. But what about the other way around? You go up. No, you go down. I'm just gonna say everything is locked here. And hope for the best. There could be another way to do this, like instead of using a boundary and doing all that, instead we save a position instead and interpolate from the position to the next thing, because then we don't even need to do interpolation between the boundaries. But yeah, let's see. I don't know. It's maybe not as bad. This is what kind of makes it a little bit more weird, I think. It's like you go up, it shifts to the right, and then it like goes back. It like bounces back because of the old rules was that you could go all the way to the right or go further right, like we could go past here. But the new rules is that it's gonna get stuck here. So it's interpolating between the old rules and the new rules, which means that we can go a little bit past. But then it goes like and then it snaps back, sort of. And you also get this weird increasing speed effect as well. Because both... Now why is that happening? Is it because I'm moving to the left? I think it's because my position updates the calculation as well. Hello, Solacorium. Do you think penguin operator is actually a penguin? Yes. Okay. I mean, maybe we should always interpolate between the boundaries instead of interpolating between the previous position, how it would have been bounded by the previous boundary, and the new and the current position when it's bounded by the new boundary. Instead, we interpolate between the boundaries and bound the position by that. So this will be not this, but it will be transition. No, it will be interpolate the boundary. It will be interboundary from is going to be camera transition from boundary. And then 2 is going to be this boundary, percentage is going to be get transition percentage. That's the boundary. And then we're simply going to return get within boundary, interp boundary. The problem, though, is now the locked thing. I think we should still take like 2 here, because that makes more sense in this case now. Looks smooth, the camera. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm basically being a little bit of a perfectionist maybe now. I don't know. How much memory do you think it would take to make an offline world map? I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much data you want. I mean, you should instead think like, what do I want to store? And then try to calculate how much data would that require. Like, you can just download an image of the world map that is compressed. It wouldn't really be that large. Are you using Zig 0.16 features? I mean, yes. Not like every day, but I did upgrade the quad tree to use threads and async programming to optimize the collision detection. Did I do this? Did I do that? I want to store path and cities for path finding. This is really strange now. Okay, it's like the locked thing or the bound. Actually, wait, this does not make sense because the. Oh, it is. No, it is locked on left and right. So why wouldn't it enter? Why wouldn't it bound to that? Also, what the hell is happening here? Yeah, that's the same thing. It takes like until it's done and then it snaps. Here's the only transition that actually works. Going into this thing. I mean, I don't know, Blue. I think that's a very complex question. Because, I mean, it all depends. How much details do you want to store? How are you going to store the paths? For pathfinding. Also, yeah, they're like pathfinding. Like that is like a very researched topic. So there's like a lot of there's a lot of resources on that you can check out. Papers and all kinds of stuff. Algorithms and you know, people have been thinking about that for since like this whole like a long time. Sadly, I don't know a lot about it. I just know that there exists algorithms to find paths very quickly, like optimal paths. I mean, just look at Google Maps, and they have a very sophisticated system there. As proof. Man, what the hell is happening here? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to get this camera working. Two locked. So it should be locked left and right, right? Let me double check. Yes, everything is locked except for bottom on this one. Right? And then you, like, everything is unlocked except for bottom. So we go from this to that, which then Right, which then unlocks left and right. Actually, you know what? I just thought about something here. Because this is unlocked on bottom right. So effectively this is like infinitely far away, but that's not what we have here. We have this here, which is really just a activation zone basically. But really, when calculating, it should be like infinitely far down because the bottom is unlocked. Same thing here. These are infinitely far up, left and right. The problem is that we cannot like interpolate between an infinite value and a finite value. However, what we could do is say that, well, if we interpolate between this infinite bottom and this bottom here, we should just pick the one that is finite. Or the target, if the target is finite, if the target is finite here, the two rectangle is finite, then we should pick that one as just being done, or pick that one as the bottom of the interpolated thing, because this one is already infinite. So it should just instantly expand down, because that doesn't really change the boundary of the camera. It just bounds it over here. So that should be fine. Now I'm gonna think the other way around though. What about left and right? Actually, let's take that first. Left and right, because then it's the other way around, because then this is locked but this is not locked. So we're essentially going from a locked to an unlocked, which means that we're going from a finite boundary here to an infinite boundary here. I mean, really, it's the boundary is over here. Or you could also say that the boundary should be like the screen. Perhaps the size of the viewport. Yeah, so for example, from going from here into there, these can simply be infinite, that's fine. The top though, I mean, if that just becomes infinite, then that becomes a snap. That's the problem. It's gonna be a snap. It's gonna go from this to infinite. That's a snap. So that direction, it doesn't actually work. It only works for the directions that does not cause a snap. Or that is the directions that are where the difference is, I guess, high of the original boundary. the hell, man? Why are these like this? There should be... It needs to be 1 pixel to the right. Okay, anyway, god damn it. I was thinking like, well, if we change the layout of the map, this might be easier to solve. Like, if we made this into a narrow corridor a little bit before you go up into this next room. But then we don't we don't have wall jumps here, so but then if we had that, there would be like a transitional area going up, and then the next room will be like ups going up, and then this would have that boundary. I don't know, because I keep thinking also sometimes that maybe just the configuration here doesn't make sense. Maybe that's the issue, like... We could extend this up. And... set the priority to 2, you would be 1. So then we kind of keep that priority. Yeah, that still looks weird. I need to figure that out. Yeah, there's like, yeah, the lock thing does not work here. Man, I really need more research on this. I mean, I actually asked AI, hey, could you come up with some solution to this issue? And got some ideas there. Most of the things that they said I already kind of have, like the different zones and stuff, and that you can kind of unlock directions. It's just the transitions that's the issue. The transitions between the areas or between the zones. Like interping between the boundaries does not work because of the lock thing. And I've been thinking of, instead of like going from a boundary to a new boundary, maybe we go from a position to a new boundary. Or maybe we can think of another solution, which I might start thinking about, because this, I'm feeling like a little dead end here. Alright, I'm gonna play Hollow Knight a little bit and maybe try to find some inspiration there. No dash, no nothing here. Like when you hit enemies, there's such a huge effect. The enemy, I've always thought about this, like the enemy essentially becomes invisible. See, even here, there's a transition here. We go through the door. Now the bottom is like unlocked. Or it's not unlocked, but it's like it changed the zone. And the transition point is over here. It essentially only changes the Y direction of the camera. Because the vertical or the horizontal does not actually change. Like the boundary does not like affect the position of the camera. It's only the vertical boundary. Was able to do almost all the game now. Tell you for the next phase. Okay, cool. Like, does it give you? Is it like a quiz or like you know, some small programming tasks or projects or questions or what is the format? All right. Oops. Forgot about that. Incredibly enough, because it's like one of the first things that happens. I think you can do this, yeah. I never understood these messages. It's all mumbo jumbo to me. Okay, there we go, we're back here. I have to go all the way back. They really have like a nice 3D feel, like in the background, like a depth to the stages. It's not just a 2D flat world. There's like a lot of parallelizing going on. I need to give code, kind of small projects. Okay, nice. Do I have to read these? Whee. Wait, I can't destroy this. Transition here as well, except we start a walk instead. charms. What are you? Embodies the fear and heroism that comes upon those who are about to die. When close to death, the bearer's strength will increase. Okay. Not sure if I remember that. Are you trying to build something like that? Yes, I'm trying to build like I'm trying to copy, or you know, well, essentially just copy, but you know, the camera system. So I'm trying to figure out like how it works and what could be, how could we implement it really. See here, example here. If you stand in the center, the camera moves up a bit because it kind of locks you. I mean, I guess here it's more to show that hey, you can go up. So that's kind of cool. So it's not really a gameplay thing. It's more like, I guess, immersive thing here. But when you step out of this, it goes down to show maybe that, you know, you can go down. I don't know. But the point is, there are two different zones here. One in the center here, which has this locked, you know, Y direction. You can't change the Y direction now. Only the X direction changes. But if you go out of that zone, you can now move the Y direction here. Oh yeah, I forgot I don't have charge. Oops. Thought it was gonna get farther than it did. Is this the temple? Yes, I don't think... Oh, I could talk to this guy. There's nothing over here, I think, no. Can't do anything here. This game was built by experienced people in the game industry. Yeah, I mean, this game is like huge as well. There's so much content in this game. Same with the sequel, Silk Song. Like, you play it and you think that okay, now it has to be over by now, and then it's like a whole new area, and then that happens like multiple times, which is really cool. Because it doesn't really overstay its welcome, I don't think. Nothing crazy going on with the camera here. Is there anything happening in here? Not really. So also you can think about like cinematics or cinematic like effects where the camera kind of shifts focus as well. So it's like you can move around, so you still have a dynamic camera position based on the position of the player, but it changes maybe like a focus point on where to look, like in the center of the room or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's not much of these examples actually in here. I guess most of the game is actually rather straightforward when it comes to the camera. But there are these places where the camera has to kind of shift depending on the context. And also, like, especially the thing that I've been thinking about most is like, or that I want most is like when you open up a secret wall that reveals a corridor that moves further in, and the camera moves towards, like, into the corridor, or so that you can now, because before it was bounded by the wall, but now when the wall is gone, it's not bounded anymore. That effect is really what I'm also after. Yeah, this game is cool. Yeah, haven't you seen it before? I mean, I guess it's kind of old now. Man, when did it come out? Actually, I don't actually remember. Wait, this was. I'm back here now. Oh yeah. There's the map guy. Can buy a map. I don't know. Maybe I'll play Animal Well on stream, because I actually bought it. Playing a game blind, or first time on stream. This guy. Oops. Yeah, just a simple corridor here. Actually, it's not a simple corridor. Up here, if you jump, now we're locked to the ceiling. But if I move over here, now it unlocks upwards. When does it unlock actually? Like over here. This is the transition here. Oops. Oh. God damn it. I'm getting impatient. Yeah. So even this little simple room basically also has camera transitions. But from what I can kind of understand, and from my impression here, is that the camera transitions are mostly only when like one of the directions, like either vertical or horizontal, gets either locked or unlocked. So the kind of the adjustment that is made is only in like one of the directions, like either, you know, vertically or horizontally. Oh, and of course, brilliant move to put a secret wall behind this, because you're being taught that there are secret walls, and you have to hit the thing, and you can't really avoid hitting the wall at the same time, unless you stand on this and like do this, and then you miss it. But maybe you can get from it from the other side, maybe. Oh, but you can see that, there's something up here. Oh, yeah. That was it. What? That is the thing there. Let's see. This is kind of interesting. Even here, it seems like there's like a transition. Or maybe it's just because we're at the bottom. But over here, there's more bottom. Maybe the system is like dynamic, like fully dynamic, like they don't define. No, they have to be. It has to be like defined rectangles and stuff. Because here it doesn't go anywhere below, but down here it actually does go more below. Like putting that much detail into the camera is really incredible in that case. It's like there is a transition here, I think. And maybe even the geometry here is like deliberately also playing into this, because you can't really trigger this transition without jumping up here. And then the bottom just happens to be the same as you're standing here. If I jump, it goes up. If I go down, it stays. Over here, if I go down, it goes down even further. So there's actually way more like details with the camera system that I actually never noticed before. There's so much detail with the camera system. I'm just checking it out. Is your laptop gaming laptop? This is on my desktop. But I'm running the window in kind of like a... I'm running it in a like a small window here. But I do have a gaming laptop as well. Can you actually get up there? Ouch. We do gaming streams too? I'm kind of doing it right now. And as I said before, I might do like a animal well, because I bought the animal well because I've been thinking about it for a long time, and someone recommended it as well. And that's also like kind of, I mean, from what I've seen, it's like a puzzle. I don't know if it's a metroidvania, but it is a platformer from what I understand. Yeah, this is the thing, you can't get in here yet. I don't know, gaming streams is like... I feel like to be able to do that, I think... I mean, yeah, I play the game, but, you know, I'm not... I don't feel like I'm entertaining enough to do that. I feel like my content was supposed to be more like, I don't know, educational maybe. Because then you don't have to be entertaining. Well, you can be entertaining as well, I guess, but... Here's this guy. Oh yeah. Do you get a thing? No. Here's... But I might play Animal Well, because then you have like a new game. It maybe gives you like inspiration. I'm surprised I didn't put another zone here. Maybe it's because you can open up here. I don't know. You could probably easily put a zone here to stop you going to the left. Because this kind of makes me feel there's more here when there's not. Yeah, I think you just talk to this guy. No, you can't go there. And now... Right, and this is the only way back, okay. Have I been here? No? Play Reanimal. What is that? I was forgetting about the little one spawning. What is Reanimal? Whoops. Oh. Damage boost. What do you mean? Game name? No, I said Animal Well. Is what I said. I don't know what Reanimal is. Oh shit, is this... Oh, you can't go in here. I think this just goes up to the where we've been. Wait. No? Oh, there's a big dude over here. I think. That's the sound. Anyway. No, maybe it's on the other floor or something. No, this feels familiar. Familiar, yeah. Okay. It's a game. Yeah, but I'm asking what kind of game is it? Like what game is it? What kind of game is it? Like, is it a platformer or a FPS or... Like, I've never heard of it. Like, the game that I said before that I could play was Animal Well, not Reanimal. It's a fun game, okay. I mean, if it's fun, then great. Am I going around in circles now? Yeah, this definitely is. Well, maybe this is going looping back here. And we open up. Now this is just a temple. Also, interestingly here, you're locked to the top, which kind of tells you that there's nothing, you can't go up. Survive from mutated animals. Okay. Is it an FPS? Your brothers and sisters too code? Do I have brothers and sisters? And the answer is no. That they don't. The ones that I have. Oh, that was close. Yeah, it must have been this guy I heard before. Maybe. No. Right. Is this the crystal mine place? Yeah. Hello. And I don't think you can do anything here. This was the place that I was testing out earlier. Now I have to use the elevator to get up. Yeah, I haven't gotten many, like, clues yet. Just that it feels like the transition is like only affecting one, like this only goes up, right? Even if I go to the right, like I can't really go there fast enough to kind of have the transition still be in effect, right? It's like already done when I'm also, actually this is kind of interesting. It almost feels like the jumping, like the Y position of the player does not matter here during the transition. That's what it feels like there. Maybe that's because to avoid the jarring effect, maybe. When I'm trying to implement the camera, so that's what I'm trying to do. Welcome back, Penguin. I'm trying to understand how it works. Did I go over here? Not sure. Here the camera is locked as well. To the top. So what could, and here it unlocks. This is the part, this, yeah, even here. there's the transition point. See, it only like adjusts vertically because the horizontal part is not, it's like it doesn't matter. The verticalness matters because here we're bounded vertically and then we become unbounded here. Also, you can see here it kind of has, like when you're falling, it does have a very quick snapping here. So it's like that's happening. What if you stand here and jump, you go up, right? You stand here and jump, you go up. What if you stand here, transition, and then jump? It's almost like you take over. Like the camera already reached the player, so maybe the transition prematurely ended. What kind of projects have you worked till now? I mean, in my professional career, I've worked with a bunch of web stuff. So not really that exciting. I mean, I worked professional career. Yeah, a bunch of web stuff, you know, TypeScript, React, C#, mostly front end, but back end as well. PHP, Angular, AngularJS, so the first Angular, when that was my first job. Yes, I'm a web dev normally. But I have been, you know, interested in programming for a very, very, very long time, and I've been self-taught. Like before I even went to any programming in school and stuff. So it's been my hobby for my whole life almost. So I have like a whole bunch of random, you know, endeavors. Nothing that really, you know, became anything. Mostly a bunch of abandoned projects. I remember the first time I made like a chat client using not, you know, conventional sockets and stuff like that, because I didn't know what a socket was at that point. So I was programming, I was using like, it was called like Windows Samba or Windows Samba, which was like Samba was the like a file sharing thing in Windows that could work in on the network. wrote a little chat program that you could chat with your friends on. It only worked on a LAN, a LAN party. So that was cool. Oh yeah, those displays. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get any more inside here. It's interesting to kind of test the little details and, you know, the little edge cases especially, to see how it works. Can you show? I mean, that project, no, that's long gone. Cause I mean, yeah, as you said, like I made that when I was maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 13 or 14 years old or something like that. Probably in C++. I don't remember now, actually. Wait, I've been there. Alright, I don't know, I'll just find a... Wait, that was kind of weird. Are we below the center point right now? I think so. It only goes up when we're like slightly above. So when you're jumping here, it doesn't go up directly. It like lags behind a little bit because you're slightly below the center point. Maybe it felt weird because I was falling down. Falling down, really, the camera is kind of jarring actually when you fall down. It like snaps to the player compared to how it is otherwise. But you really don't think about that when you play the game. Like, it's only when you actually look into this. Or maybe, yeah, maybe I'm just scared. But this doesn't lock. No. Yeah. Here's another zone. See? Boom, it goes up. Here it is locked on the right though. But then so is this. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go farther. No. Probably not. I mean, I was just very interested in programming, and I learned at a young age. So I don't know. At that young age, maybe the brain. I mean, it maybe affected my brain. I don't know. But I don't think I'm that. In fact, I know. Okay, but anyway, wait, I'm just gonna go up here. Yes, I wanted a bench, that's right. to the bench over here. It's interesting also the gameplay here, because when you hit something, there's like a ricochet, or like not a ricochet, a recoil, almost like, not when you just swing, but when you hit something, you get like slightly knocked back. Even if you hit a wall, you get like slightly knocked back, which is interesting because it. At first, I don't know, I just felt like it was kind of annoying. But then when you get used to it and you start to see it more as, okay, well, this is like the game's it's kind of like a challenge. It's like, you know, it's like when you're playing a sport, you know, without rules, the sport would just be a couple of people running around and throwing a ball around. So this is like one of the rules in this game. It's like, yeah, when you hit something, you get knocked back, and that's just a rule. That's just to make it more interesting, a little nuanced, adding challenge to the game. But at first, I was like, well, this is a little bit annoying. I really hate this knockback. But then it's like, okay, well, then you get used to it. So then you learn how to kind of, you know, it becomes ingrained in your muscle memory and how to respond to things in the game, which is really interesting. Although I don't think I'm gonna have it in my game. I played Vice City when my dad got me a PC. I wish I'd explored at that time. I mean, I played a lot of games as well. We played CS, like Counter-Strike when it... I mean, yeah, we played Nintendo 64. I just did a bunch of programming as well. I mean, I could have spent more time learning programming as well. I could have, you know, done that, but I played games and I programmed as well. But it was just, I think it's because it was like, I would never do it unless, I think it was my brother who was part of a small team of people who wanted to make games. And he and his friends made like a couple of small games because one of his friends had actually learned how to program. And so I was like, well, because I was always thinking, like, when I played a game, like, well, I wish this worked like this instead, or I wish I could do this instead, or this or that. So I always had this idea that I wanted to, well, it would be cool to have a game like this, but like this instead, or something like that, you know? Like an ideas man. I was the ideas man. No, but then I wanted to kind of make it into reality, and so I was like, looking at this, because I got the source code for their games and stuff, so I could look at the source code, and then it's like, my brother was like, yeah, that's called C++, and I was like, okay, then I just searched C++, and I got like books to read about learning it and stuff like that, and yeah, there you go. There was a little bit of resources on the internet as well. I mean, but I think there was a couple of factors there that happened to happen in such a way that I started learning it. And once I started learning it, then I was hooked on it. I was like, I know that this is what I want to do. All right. Cool. I mean, I have Animal Well as well. Animal Well Mm. I wish there was like a more, like an example that worked more like how I have it in my game. I'm not sure about this interrupt boundary thing. I have to think about this, because it really doesn't seem like they are doing the same thing. I feel like it's more like based on what is locked and what is unlocked. It's like almost like each, like the vertical or the horizontal direction, each of like are treated separately. It's not like they're treated as the same thing. I'm excited to see you build games, make millions. Yeah, me too, man. Alright. Okay. Man, this camera thing. Okay, new idea. New idea. Treat vertical and horizontal locks. No. Wait. Because we're going from an unlocked horizontal to a locked horizontal. But that is actually not the case in that same place in Hollow Knight, because they go from, like, the horizontal boundary is not actually changed, so it's only the vertical boundary that's changed, which makes the camera go up. But in my example, it's actually, well, first it's the horizontal. No, vertical. First is the vertical and then the horizontal. How do you know this gaming stuff? I mean, did you make any games before Hannah, like this gravity and camera stuff? Well, I've tried to make games, like a lot of games, but you know, I never follow through with any, like this project here is one that I've worked with the most, like came furthest with. So yeah, I really want to see this through, because I feel like if I don't do this, if I don't feel this through, if I don't follow this through, I mean, I mean, I feel like I can just give up on this whole game dev thing, which I don't really want to do, because it's always been my dream kind of to do this. So it's just that, you know, there's been a lot of things in the way, along the way. The path of life has not been straightforward. Okay, I'm really trying to figure this out here. I think, okay, what we'll do, I will put this down now and I will sleep on this. I I mean, maybe it's just a matter of designing the level and the camera in such a way that the transitions will be smoothly handled, even though we don't get a perfect algorithm that works in every kind of situation, but we will get smooth transitions because of how the kind of the design of the levels are made. So the design helps with getting smooth transitions. That's what I'm thinking here. So that could be a solution to the issue, to the problem. We could simply not allow the player to have that happen. That will, of course, be a lot more taxing on the actual design of levels, and well, you have to adhere to a bunch more rules and stuff. But I mean, yeah, I guess you could always change things after the fact and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, well, man, how to apply for jobs? I tried to apply on LinkedIn, and indeed there are no response. I mean, it's pretty common to get no response nowadays. It's like either, you know, you didn't make it, or, you know, I mean, how are you applying for jobs? Like, are you using the official, like, apply function in LinkedIn? I mean, you can also just talk, just send messages to people and stuff like that, but I think that, yeah, and then they will... Actually, forgot. There's been a long time since... I mean, maybe they've changed things around as well. But isn't it usually you apply, you kind of send your CV and stuff? I mean, yeah, it depends also on the job, because some jobs are... You have to go to a separate site. I do that apply now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't get the job, most of the time you don't get a response. Like, then you can just say that, okay, well, I've sent these things and they haven't responded. So either they have a lot of candidates to go through and takes a lot of time to go through everything and stuff like that, or... And then you might eventually get a response. So you don't like apply for 10 jobs and then hope to get the response. Just keep applying until you get a response. That's how you should do it. Or not until you get a response. Actually, until you get a job. So yeah. But okay, that's gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll get this camera stuff fixed soon, so I can continue. We can continue with maybe like actual content for the game and stuff like that. So yeah. But yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you later. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Let's see, maybe yeah, sorry for the Twitchers. Maybe we can raid here. I have to get used to that. Let's see. Raid. Are you here, Penguin? Do you have any suggestions? Lucas. Oh, no engine. Zig Vulcan. What the hell? No, channel is offline. What? Did they just go offline? Or why is that on the raid thing? Okay. Damn it. That was a good candidate. Alright, I know how much you like Rust. So here we go. What is happening? Channel is offline. I don't understand. I'll try to restart the page here. Open up RAID. It like finds me a bunch of stuff that was offline. Okay, here we go. Filter. Okay. Godot. In the game. Ray. Developing Ray. Sure. Alright, see you later.